All right, all right, all right. And I'm trying to it looks so much better in the mirror. Anyway, just watching Jay Cutler TV real quick. And they were talking about 200-pound dumbbells they got in Flex's new gym. And that's what the point of this is. 200-pound dumbbells, 180s, they weren't collecting dust back in the old days. 150s, 120s, they were being used several times a day. So, this is in response. I was scrolling through Jay Cutler TV, YouTube, and I just saw 300-pound, 305-pound monsters or something like that, and it was Sergio and some other guy. And I wanted to say, hey, let me just see about this, because this is awesome. Nowadays, 300-pounders are rare. They kind of were back in the day too, but I'll touch base on this in a minute. So I watched it, talking. I was really surprised. The guy came up to him and was trying to hawk some products on him, or whatever you want to call it. Like, really douchey. But anyway, so I was just fast forwarding it because I really don't care to watch him train. So I looked through a little bit, and then at the very end, luckily I did. I watched them talking. And they were talking about how all of us talk about the 90s was so much better than it is now. And I've done that video too. Yes, I'm tiny, I'm fat and all that stuff, but I'm also almost 46 years old. Health issues, I can't keep the weight on. Even being at 260, it's still way too much for me. But anyway, I was big back in the day, blah, blah, blah. So, I grew up in that era, and he was talking about how more of us need to teach you newbies, or the generation, how we got so big back then. And I will do it a little differently. Let's just go back to 1993, the year I graduated high school. World's Gym Oviedo, or really most gyms in the United States were hardcore. Now, I've been in the supplement industry since middle school. So back then, the supplement industry was super tiny. There really was no pre-workout. Ultimate Orange came out, I think, mid-90s. There were some diet pills. There was really, the sports nutrition industry was tiny. So, what I'm getting at is, you all rely on these pre-workouts to do it. You don't need it. Yes, I make a lot of money off you selling pre-workouts, but you don't need them. You don't, that's one thing. We rely too much on the supplements. We were just worried about eating, and eating real quick. We were just eating tons of steak or pork or and micro macros. I honestly have no idea what the difference is, and I listen to several pro bodybuilders from back in the day, and they have no idea what the micro macros is. Just eat. Just eat clean. If you're trying to lose weight, whatever, just eat clean. Just don't eat as much. Just eat clean. Just eat steak, good steak, Wagyu steak. Obviously get it from someone like me, or go to the farm and get it. Another video. So the most important was eating clean, and eating a lot. A lot. That was just a 24/7 thing, was just eating. So, you're preparing to go to the gym. You weren't wearing something like this, which is one of my more shameless plugs, one of my custom tank tops. Most guys, even living in Florida, were all bundled up in long sleeve shirts. We took extra shirts because we were sweating so much. Not just because it was hot out, but because we went balls to the wall training. So, you didn't care what you looked like. It wasn't a show. Oh, and these stupid phones. We didn't have them. And I think that's one of the biggest things today is these stupid phones. People can't let go of them. I have several businesses, and I hardly ever use Instagram, Facebook, or whatever. When I would go to the gym, the only reason I would take it into the gym when I went to the gym, just put a headset on, just to try to mentally block it out. So that, I think, is the biggest thing, is these stupid phones. So you're going to the gym. A lot of us would actually get nervous, like you're going into the dungeon for battle. Nowadays, it's more of like, you're just getting nervous because you want to look good, men and women. I don't, different time. So here, I'm sorry, I know I'm talking fast. I'm trying to get an hour video into hopefully 5 or 6 minutes. So you walk into the gym. You either hear, usually no music in most gyms, or it was heavy metal, hard rock music, just to get you in the mood. No other type of music, we'll leave it at that. You walk in, and you just start picking up heavy ass weight. There was hardly any warm up, not people doing this for 10 minutes and, benching with the bar, and then bench at 25, 135 for 10, 20 minutes. After 20 minutes of a warm up, what most of you do, we were fucking out of the gym. We were already home or whatever. Now, there was a lot of guys that did marathon workouts. So, basically that was we were just lifting super, super, super intense. To elaborate that, to skip ahead, you were constantly sore. Even if you weren't overtraining, but I guess it was overtraining, your elbows hurt, your shoulders hurt, and I guess that's why Nubian and all became a huge thing, was painkillers. You know, DMSO all over to help with the pain. You were in pain. You were training so sore you couldn't even move. I don't think really anybody trains like that. Oh, and I'll touch on the drugs in a minute. We trained just so fucking balls to the wall. It was just super intense. And I remember a few years ago, probably going about 10 years ago, I was in LA Fitness, and people would always come up to me, even staff members, "Are you okay, sir? Because you're sweating an awful lot." That's what you go to the gym for, is to sweat. You have such a small window. I'm going to do another video about that, about you got to mentally get into it. So, back to the thing. You walk in, you look around. Everybody was huge like Sergio. Chicks, dude, chicks were 130, 150 pounds on average. Not fat, I mean built, which is bigger than almost every guy in the gym nowadays. If you were under 200 pounds, you were really short. I'm 6 foot, so there's guys 170, 180, but again, shredded, like Tristan Lee shredded. Almost everybody was shredded to the freaking bone. Yeah, drugs, good, legit drugs played a part in this, but I think it was the intensity. We had better food back then. Intensity, way better drugs back then. But most of the guys were over 200 pounds. Again, everybody going nuts over this Tristan Lee. So many people in high school were that shredded. But I thought I was the shit. I'm walking around 188 pounds lean, 200 pounds lean as a teenager. Dude, that was nothing. I had guys Tristan Lee's size who were like 5'6", or 180 pounds lean, about 10%, 11, 12% body fat. I mean, pretty lean. There was teenagers that were well over 200 pounds, contest ready. Again, total different ball game. So the point of this part is, for Sergio and the guys out there that want to be big, you have like no motivation. Yes, when we were training, we're resting in between sets. We're not socializing. We're not on the phone. We're just preparing for the next set. But if you did look up, there was mass monsters, huge motherfuckers around everywhere. Okay, so again, you had that motivation. I go into the gym nowadays and I'm like, oh, everybody's 130 pounds, 150 pounds. I mean, and a lot of people look like me. Like, I mean, I know in person I really do look a lot better. I know I'm really fat, tiny, but I do have like a 55-inch chest. So, but it was just the motivation of just having all these huge freaks around. Everybody was huge and slamming all the weights and lifting hardcore. Again, balls to the wall training. It was just everything. Drugs. Okay, real quick. My thing is 96 to 98% of the steroids, whatever you call them, are fake now. 99% of them are dirty. I might do another video about that. That's just a fact. Because everything back then, there was so much more available. All the legit diuretics, thyroids, fat burners. The suppz 250 was legit. CYP, we had FENA. That was... My God, dude, you don't even know what that is. FENA, you took FENA, you literally just, even before the shot went in you already put on like 20, 30 pounds. Everything just doubled weight-wise in the gym. Again, that was up until 96, 98 when we had unbelievable drugs. Because everything came from Europe, or America, I guess, but everything came from Europe that I knew of. And then 96, 98, everything started coming from Mexico. And then all of a sudden the zits came and everybody just shrunk. And then that's pretty old when you saw everybody in the gym, competitive bodybuilding die out and everything. So, and we also did very little drugs. The people that did drugs, that actually talked about it, did very little, like 50, 100 mgs a week, maybe 5 or 10 mgs of VAR. It was so minimal. Now people are doing like 50 mgs a day of VAR, which if they were legit, it would be a complete waste. So again, very little drugs because we focused on training and eating, just eating a lot of good, clean, solid food. I know I'm forgetting about something, but what I should have mentioned at the very beginning of the video is if you listen to that just came out of my mouth, it's pretty well all 100% true. I don't say and there I go. You know, you talk to John Meadows that grew up there. This was on Jay Cutler. You talked to Jay Cutler about that back in New England days. Chris Aceto was on this. Also, Google, just look at how dry everybody was. Just in the 80s and 90s when the competitive bodybuilders, yeah, they're genetic freaks, but even when you went to local shows, everybody was just shredded. I mean, in the gym, real quick, so this is the last thing and then I'll drop, but everybody in the gym was shredded. Like what you see like on stage now at the Olympias or the Arnold Classics, pretty well that's what almost everybody looked at year round. Very few guys pulled like a Lee Priest, got fat or bloated or whatever. And I don't know why, because everybody was eating 2, 3, 4, 5 pounds of steak a day. I don't know, honestly, and even for us that were natural at the time, or the guys who were offs or just doing very little, that's something, honestly, I don't know. Everybody was just shredded. Well under 10% body fat. 7-8% was like normal. Not just for teenagers. Guys in their 20s, 30s, 40s. I mean, there was guys 40s back when I was a kid that, you know, like me, I had gray hair and were just striated everywhere. So, I hope this helps. Like I said, I know I talk super fast. Get through this. Feel free to comment. Tell me I'm full of shit. I don't care. I lived it. I lived it. And I know it's the truth. So, but feel free to comment, ask me questions, whatever. And what else am I missing? Oh, of course, there'll be much more motivational videos coming. I've just been overwhelmed with the t-shirt company, you know, doing stuff for people. So I apologize to everybody. I'm trying to get everything out. So thanks.